Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Today we're going to be comparing the original Too Faced Pumpkin Spice with the 2019 version. So we got 2018, 2019. We're going to compare them. I'm going to break them down. We're going to really decide if you got this palette, do you need this one? If you didn't get this palette, is it worth getting this one instead? Kind of a situation. Is it good? Is it not good? We're going to get a little more in depth. I did an initial collection video. I will try and remember and link it down below so you can watch that. But this is going to be a more in-depth. We're going to break it down. I'm going to show swatches. We're going to look at the whole thing. So before we get started, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button down below, become part of my little YouTube family. Don't miss out. I do makeup videos. I also do some movie review videos, horror movies, 80s movies. I do makeup looks with them. Again, some reviews, some unboxings. It's a little bit of everything, so you don't want to miss out. So definitely subscribe. And then also, if you are a subscriber, make sure your notification bell is on so you don't miss out. So yeah, we are going to jump into the video. Okay, so here is the 2018 version. I'm going to open it up and show the palette. It looks like this. They broke it down in quads. So you've got kind of a burgundy quad. So like these are 4 individual like eye looks basically that they have set up. And then you can use it, obviously mix and match colors, but you got the burgundy quad, there's a brown quad, a pink quad, and then an orange quad. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 mattes. There's 1 foiled shade, which is this gold one. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 satiny, shimmery shades, and then 1 matte with glitter. So that is this palette. The new palette, I have used it a couple of times, and I will show you my eye look before I'll show you the palette, and then I'll show you my eye look. I'm going to hold it upside down because I haven't used it enough. This one, you have, I would say 3 foils. 3 foils. And I'm knocking things over already. There's this gold shade, and this is like a silver, which are more like that gold foil formula. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shimmers. 1, 2, 3, 4 shimmers. And this black with like purple glitter in it. So I don't know if this is a true shimmer or not. I don't think I've swatched that one yet. So we're going to swatch both of these palettes. I'll do side-by-side comparisons. And then I'm also going to do a separate swatch section. That was a sentence. Comparing similar shades from the palette. So this one is not broken into quads. There's the same number of shades, but this is a more, not that the other one's not cohesive, but this is a more complete, I guess. Like everything works with everything, basically. I mean, you do have some random shades in here, but they haven't like if you look at the individual quads, they're not necessarily complete eye looks. Not that this other one is either, but they've designed a more cohesive palette, I think, if that makes sense. Not, like I said, not that the other one's not cohesive, but if that makes sense at all. So I'm going to show you them side by side. So definitely this is more orange. Hopefully my lights are not bad and you can kind of see. There we go. So this one's got more pinks and burgundies. This one's more orange, more warm, peachy toned, whereas this one's got pink, burgundy, and there's a single orange shade. So very different color schemes. So far the formula is pretty similar. I've only used this twice. I am going to do a 3 looks 1 palette video. I wanted to do that one first so that I could use this more, and I just haven't had time to do it. Work's been very crazy, so I wanted to definitely get this up. So I've only used it twice, but so far The shades that I've used, there's only one shade in this palette that I don't like, and we'll get into that. But I will show you my eye look, and I have had this on since I did my eyes, we'll say 6:30, and it is 7:45. So that's over 12 hours. We're at 14 mark again. And I'll close my eye. I hate closing my eye because of my hooded eyes, so I always feel like it looks like a mess, but the gold is still there, and there is still color. It doesn't look bad. So there's staying power. I did use an eyeshadow primer, and I used glitter glue with this foil because of the foil that I didn't like in here, but I think this foil would have been fine without it. It seems very similar to the one that I like in the other palette, but again, we will get into that. First, I'm going to go through the other stuff, and then we'll really get into the swatches. So both sets include a brush. This one is from the 2018 set. This is the 2019. So it's the same brush, same color. It's just this one has stars on it. So you're getting the same brush, and this is not a bad brush. I do use this one occasionally. I mean, I'll have two of them now, but I mean, it's not one that I use every day. It gets forgotten about, I think, because it's short. Let's do a size comparison. So this is just a standard generic Dew by Dew color. So it's short, so I think it gets lost in my eyeshadow cup, but it's not a bad brush. And then you get glosses. This is last year's, this is this year's. So they are different. The one last year is a more terracotta color, whereas the one this year is straight up nude. And I will say I like the gloss a little bit better this year. Not that I dislike the one, but I like that it's a little more nude. So last year's, this year's. They both have sparkle in them. Yes, I want to make sure I wasn't a liar. I think this year's has a little more glitter than last year's. But they are sparkly, and there is a little bit of pigment. But there are the glosses. So there is a difference. Again, same tube. It is full size, but definitely not the same color. And then you do get a full size. It's been a long day. You do get a full size Better Than Sex mascara. I still had the one that I got from last year, and that's been a year. And this has an expiration date. I just looked at this. What does that say? 6 months. And these are new glasses. There wasn't anything wrong with it, like it wasn't dried out, but that mascara can breed bacteria, and you are putting it in your eye. So because I have a brand new tube, I threw the old one away, but you do get a full-size mascara, which is a good value. So I am going to swatch both palettes on my arm, and we're going to look at the eyeshadow swatches and really get into a color. So here are swatches, and I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to hold the palette. We have Daydream, Nooks and Cranberries, Warm and Creamy, Sweet Tooth. That's that gold shade. That is the one shade in the palette that I don't like so far. Then we have Crumb Luck, Caramel Apple, Extra Toasty is that warm brown, Hot and Coal. It's a black with purple shimmer. Below that we have So Frosty, Cinnamon Spice, Slow Burn is that bright, true orange. Fireplace Cuddles is that white shimmer. Then we have Pretty as a Pumpkin. That's like a warm brown, almost orangey brown. Dream Big, Hayride, and Chocolate Wasted is the bottom. So there are the swatches of that, and I will try and hold them side by side if I can. I probably didn't swatch them correctly to do that, but we're gonna give it a go. So again, on this is the last year's palette. So at the very top, which is very hard to see, I'm sure, because it is almost the same color as my skin, we have Love You a Latte, Pumpkin Spice, Something Sweet, and Blushing Pumpkin is that pink one. Then we have Oh My Gourd, Golden Pumpkin, Love and Pumpkins is the pink matte, and Fall and Fudge. Then we have Sweater Weather, which is the cranberry satiny shade, Cream Cloud, Pretty as a Pumpkin is the only true orange in the palette, and then Praline is a shimmer. And then we have Sugar and Spice, which look very, very similar swatched. Oddly enough, Sugar and Spice, the one below, is the only one I've used. I've never used Praline. Spiced Coffee is that cranberry matte. Then we have Pumpkin Butter, which is a shimmer, and Cinnamon Stick, which is a matte brown with gold glitter. You can kind of see. Okay. If I hold them like this. So you can see there are I kind of swatched them at an angle. Try and hold them like this. There are very different shades. There are some similar shades, and I am going to go through and pick out similar colors, and we're going to look at them. So I tried to take the swatches off my arm, so I am going to try and go down the front with similar shades, and I'm going to live swatch them, so hopefully this doesn't take an eternity. But from this year's palette, let's do the gold. So we've got Hayride and Sweet Tooth. Hayride and Sweet Tooth. This is from the 2019 palette. And this looks beautiful swatched, and I need to try it with a glitter glue, because like I said, I used a glitter glue today. And then the only gold in last year's palette was Golden Pumpkin. So it actually looks very similar. It's a little bit different in tone, but as far as appearance, and probably if I had them side by side on my eyelids, it looks very similar to this shade, which this is the shade that I have on my eyelids right now. And then this gold is one that I've worn in videos. Okay, so those are the golds. Brow Bone Highlight. We're going to do Fireplace Cuddle and So Frosty. They're very similar. These are both from the 2019 palette. So we've got Fireplace Cuddle and So Frosty. This one's white. This one's a little more champagne-y. And similar tones are going to be, this is from the 2018 palette. We've got Something Sweet, Praline, which I'm going to go over one more time because it's very light, and then Sugar and Spice. Hopefully you can see it over. I did like a double swatch so you could see, because it's kind of in where my watch is, but you can see Fireplace Cuddles is almost identical to Something Sweet, and then So Frosty is very similar in tone. If you were to combine Praline and Sugar and Spice, it's probably hard to see Praline because it's right above where my watch is, but Praline and So Frosty are very similar shades. And then the orange. Last year's palette only had one, so this is, I'm going to go below where my watch sits. So last year we had, and that's not in a good spot. Let's try and take that off. It's so hard. Okay, and I apologize. Okay. Pretty as a Pumpkin. This is from last year's palette, so now I know where that goes. Okay, we've got Slow Burn and Pretty as a Pumpkin. So this is Pretty as a Pumpkin. Is it the same shade? It is not, but it has the same name. So last year's Pretty as a Pumpkin This year's Pretty as a Pumpkin, and then they've also added Slow Burn. So those are different oranges for sure. And then the other orange that's in the palette, I'll put above, is Crumb Luck. So Crumb Luck seems like it's a mix between, or Pretty as a Pumpkin last year, it seems like is a combination if you were to mix these two. So the oranges are very different. And then for warm browns, let's see, there's Extra Toasty and Caramel Apple. Those are both from this year. So there's those. And then last year you actually had 3. You had Fall into Fudge, Pumpkin Spice. I apologize. It's hard because of my tattoos. So I'm trying to like work around my watch, work around the tattoos. I'll get the hang of this, I swear. So these bottom 3 are last year's palette. The top 2 are this year's palette. So they are different brown. I mean, this brown and this brown are close. So Fall into Fudge and Caramel Apple are close. Oh, and there is Chocolate Wasted out of this year's palette also, which we're just going to stick up there. And there is not a shade similar to Chocolate Wasted in last year's palette. You do get a matte with shimmer in both, but they're different. Last year's was a brown, this year's is a black. And then the only other shade that's similar, warm and creamy, is a peach shade out of this year's palette. The shade that is similar is called Love and Pumpkin. But this one's more peach, this one's more pink. So, I mean, there are some similar, I think, shimmers, but the mattes are very different. And you can see there is some staying power, which is probably why it's been on my eyes for 14 hours and there's still pigmentation. Okay, so we've broken down the whole set. You've seen swatches. We've compared similar shades. I'm going to hold the palettes up one more time. Are they the same palette? No, they're not. I think we've established this has a very different color scheme from this. They definitely went more pumpkin spice latte, which is fitting because of the cover. So there's definitely more browns, more oranges, whereas this one only has one orange shade in it and the rest is. This palette is very similar to the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette, but they are different. Now, formula wise, again, the only shade that I've had issues with is Sweet Tooth, and I'm going to try it again with a glitter glue because that worked fine with this. I put a glitter glue down, used my finger. I never had to do that with this gold, but I was afraid to use this one after the horrible experience with this one. But the mattes perform exactly the same. The oranges blend out like the orange from last year's palette. So I think if you were bummed that you didn't get this one, especially if you're a subscriber of mine and you've heard me talk about this to death, it is worth picking up, but just know you're not getting the same palette. It's just different. There are some similar shades, which I pointed out, which if you liked those shades in here, you can get them in here, but they're not entirely, like, they're very different palettes. Do you need this? No. But I think I said this last year. You didn't need last year's. It's a neutral palette. It's an orangey brown neutral palette. This was not so orange, so this was just a neutral palette with the burgundies and the browns and the pinks. This is an orangey brown palette. Do you need this? No, I don't think anybody needs it unless you don't have very much makeup. Value wise, I said this in my last video, it is a good deal even at $50 because you're getting a full-size palette that has, I don't know, 16 shades. You're getting a full size Better Than Sex mascara, which this is valued at $25. You're getting a full size lip gloss, which I think they could probably sell these for $20, and then you're getting a brush. So value wise, it is a good deal. Do you need this? No. But again, if you were bummed that you didn't buy the set last year and you want to pick this up, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I don't think you're going to hate this palette unless you just don't like. I mean, but if you don't like this color scheme, don't buy it. If you bought the set last year, again, you don't need this, but it's not the same color scheme. So if you have this already, don't feel like you're going to be buying the same palette twice, because you're not. They're different palettes. But do you need it? No, you don't need it. It's a neutral eyeshadow palette. It is. I bought it because I love this one so much and I wanted to review it. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. I don't honestly need this one either. Why this one has become my favorite, I couldn't tell you, because it's a neutral palette, but I love it. And I don't love this one as much, but it's a different color scheme. And I think because I built this one up so much in my head, this one had a lot to live up to. But I do like that there's more oranges, because I love orange. Pink is my favorite color, but this time of year I love orange. And then in, getting into December, I love red. So that's my side of the color wheel. So I do like that there's more oranges in here. So I appreciate that. And the quality is good. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed, but no, you don't need it. So hopefully this helped. I really tried to break it down. Hopefully this video is not a million years long. Editing Alex hasn't spliced things together yet, so hopefully it's not. This is probably going to be a longer video, so I apologize if you made it this far. Leave me a little pumpkin emoji down below. And leave me comments. Let me know what you thought of both sets, breakdown wise. Are you going to purchase one? Did you purchase last year's? Let me know your thoughts. I am always open to opinions and suggestions, so yeah, leave me some comments. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful if this was a set you were interested in. And then I am going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette with this, so definitely make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you being here, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye everybody.